Welcome to Her Lights, your home for women's sports coverage. I'm your host, Erin Foley, a stand-up comic, TV writer, and most important, an obsessed sports fan. I break down the best games, highlight the best stories, and interview the best from the world of women's sports. So put on your jerseys, stretch out your hammies, and let's do this. Hello, Her Lighters. It's Erin Foley back in the booth talking women's sports. Hold on to your hats. Is that something? Happy Monday. There's so much sports to cover. This is, let me just say, people, this is a dream sequence to cover. I could do this for the next 3 hours. There's so much stuff to cover. And of course, the ultimate dream, which I'm hopefully doing a small part and promoting off the court, off of Her Lights and on Her Lights. This could be 3 or 4 hours every single day. We will get to a point in women's sports sooner than later where there will be daily women's sports coverage shows on TV, on radio, whatever it is. I hope to be a part of it all because wow, I went deep in the last couple of days watching as much as humanly possible. Today, here's what we got. We got a lot of soccer, right? Because our NWSL is winding down. I watched all the quarterfinal games over the weekend. And then we got semis this weekend. We got finals in 2 weeks. I'm going. I'll tell you all about that. We also have Northern Super League. That's the Canadians' first domestic league. That's wrapping up. So we'll do a whole bunch of soccer. Then we have ice hockey. We have USA Canada we got to cover. And we've got, the PWHL coming up. A little bit of tennis, and then what to watch over the weekend. 2 of these events, which I'll be highlighting. I will be at the events, so you'll hear all about that next Monday. But so exciting. And also, this is just like obviously the tip of the iceberg. And if I forget, I'm not going to try. I will try not to forget. We are ramping up for the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics are in February. Like this week, we've got like curling Olympic trials. It's happening. Will I watch curling Olympic trials? You're goddamn right I will. Okay, let's get into it. NWSL playoffs. So we've got quarterfinal recap and some semifinals looking ahead. Obviously, I could spend an hour on each of these games. Let me just say this. 3 out of the 4 games went into overtime. When one was penalty kicks. The action, every single game was so fun. I was like literally on the edge of my seat. Let's start with the Orlando Pride Seattle Reign game. What I'm going to do for just time sensitivities, I'll just give you a couple of highlights from each game because they really were incredible. This highlight that I'm going to do for Orlando Seattle is the most feel-good. This is also the feel-good moment of the week. One of the most feel-good of all time feel-good. And that is this. Okay, I went into this game cheering for Seattle. Orlando won the whole thing last year. I was so happy for Marta. It was awesome. But, when my team, ACFC, is out of it, I've got a couple teams that I really like. I love Gotham. I like Seattle. I like Portland. So, there's a couple teams that I latch onto. So this was a nail-biter. It was 1-0. Haley McCutcheon scored 21st minute in for Orlando. And then with extra time added on, not end of regulation extra time, but injury time, right? So the game is 90 minutes. And then when that's over, they'll add, they've been adding 6-7 minutes for the injuries that occur throughout the game. So that's what I call extra time. Marta comes racing down. Marta's like 56. She's been in the league 78 years. I mean, she's arguably the greatest player of the 21st century. She's ageless, timeless. She wears hot red lipstick. I love everything about this woman. She's gay. That's a bonus for me. Just blows by these youngsters on the Seattle squad, runs down, I'm talking like before midfield, blows them all by, gets a penalty. They trip her in the box. Now this is, Seattle still has a chance, right? It's only 1-0. Marta gets a penalty in the box, and you would assume now Marta's about to take the penalty shot. Okay, this is when get your Kleenex boxes out. Marta's Brazilian, hands the ball to Luana, another Brazilian. for Luana to take the penalty kick. Here's the quick backstory. Luana had cancer last year. Okay. She had lymphoma. She had cancer. She's been in recovery, the chemo, the radiation, all of it. Gets back on the field earlier this season, like a month ago. This is how dramatic this story is. Okay. Hands the ball to Luana. I'm already going to cry. Luana kicks the penalty in and they win 2-0. That's how dramatic that moment was. And I will link it into the show notes, but it was one of the most dramatic, most feel good, sweetest life moments on the field, off the field, than honestly that I can ever possibly think of in the history of me watching sports, which is 95 years. It was, and at that moment I was like, I want Orlando to win. Like I couldn't, like, it was just the biggest heart moment. Marta handing the ball off to Luana. She kicks it in. Here's a post-game comment from Luana. 1 year ago, I didn't know if I would be playing again. And today I'm here. Nothing is impossible. Good God, I'm going down right now. Whew. I'm just saying, if she can come back from cancer, right, and get back onto the field and kick the game-winning penalty kick, then you and I, normal human beings, can literally do anything. We can do it. Like, what I'm saying is this: take that moment, right? And whenever you have an obstacle or the alarm goes off and you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. Can I do this? Can I do that? Go Luana. It's sort of like Moana. I know that was a very inspirational movie, but I'm doing Luana. It's also Tawanda. That's what makes me think of fried green tomatoes. And if you haven't seen that movie, oh God, I would even say pause this podcast and go watch that movie. Luana for the win and Luana for the life win. So inspirational. I got to get a bracelet that says Luana. Aren't young people doing that? They have friendship bracelets and they put messages on them. Is that something? Should I just call this podcast Is That Something? Orlando Pride, the spirit of Luana. My God, grit, determination, all of it. So feel good. Orlando beats Seattle 2-0. Okay, moving on. Saturday, Washington Spirit beats Racing Louisville. I'm a big fan of the Washington Spirit. They lost last year, but I was torn because Racing Louisville, I was cheering for them to get into the playoffs. Anyway, I just thought Washington Spirit was just going to get this done. They did in penalty kicks, extra time. This was one of the most dramatic soccer games I think I've ever watched in my life. It was 0-0. Then in the 73rd minute, Monday from the Spirit, who's so fun to watch. She's fast, she's aggressive, she's amazing. Heads in this beautiful cross. So then it goes into okay, so 90 minutes are up. Now we're in injury time, right? They added like 6 or 7 minutes. Washington's mere minutes away of advancing. And then Kayla Fisher, who subbed in on the 66th minute, puts the ball in the back of the net for Louisville in a beautiful goal. So now you're like, oh my God. So now it's tied 1-1. We go into extra time, 15 minutes, first 15 minutes, no score, extra 15 minutes, no score. Then it's penalty kicks. And this is when Aubrey Kingsbury, she, to me, besides like Alyssa Nair at the U.S. Women's National Team level, is the best goalkeeper for penalty kicks, hands down, in the history of the National Women's Soccer League. Her rate is, I think it's like, she saves like 37% of the shots. She saved 2 of the 4 penalties. I mean, that she is just like, she's that like, that asset that waiting in the wings, you get to PKs and you're like, oh, we got this because we have Kingsbury. Just ice in her veins. The highest pressure, moments she thrives in. Washington beats Louisville. Rodman didn't play. Now, Trinity Rodman did not play. So this gives her, they said she was available off the bench. She probably wasn't. They probably just did that to psych out Louisville because she never played. And I feel like if she would have been able to play, she would have at least gone in an extra time. So that gives her another week to heal the MCL strain. sprain, whatever it's called. So maybe she will play next weekend. I really hope so. So that was a dramatic, unbelievable finish, right? So now we've got Gotham. So that was Saturday, and then Sunday morning. This was a doubleheader for me. Sunday morning, did I get up and go to hot yoga? Well, it's called slow flow heated yoga on Sunday morning to prep for these games. I did. Am I a champion? Did I channel Luana? I did because I hate getting up and exercising immediately. But I did it. I did it to mentally and physically prepare for a back-to-back amazing two games. Gotham beats Kansas City Current. Now, this to me was an absolute heartbreaker for Kansas City. They clinched the Shield, I don't know, 7 weeks ago. They were the most dominant team. I think one of the most dominant squads you could say in NWSL history. I wanted them to win the whole thing. They were my pick. I think everybody picked them. And what's so sad about this is the injury factor. They had the most incredible team, and yet they go into the quarterfinals completely depleted. They're two huge stars. Chewinga, who got the golden boot, who I talked about last week, she was out with an abductor strain. She didn't play. She's the number one goal scorer in the entire league. And then scratched before the game was Michelle Cooper, their other huge goal scorer. And they couldn't overcome it. They just could not overcome the injuries. Kansas City goes down 2-1. Now, again, amazing dramatic fashion. And to full credit for Gotham. They were an eighth seed, but they weren't. I mean, they could have been a 2 seed. They could have been a 3 seed. They had a bunch of ties at the end of the season. Louisville jumped them. And so Louisville went in as 7 and Gotham went in as 8. Gotham went into Kansas City. Kansas City did not lose a home game this entire season. Gotham went in it and took it for them. So all credit, huge credit to Gotham. And I'm not saying, they couldn't have beat him with Chewinga and Cooper, although I'm going to say I don't think they could have beat him with Chewinga and Cooper. Jaden Shaw stepping up big, had a big goal in the 68th minute, a beautiful goal. So now Kansas City is losing 1-0. The crowd, is like, everyone's just like, I'm like, oh, it's over. I think there was maybe 7 minutes of stoppage time. That's what it's called. I've been saying extra time. It's stoppage time. That's the correct lingo. They had something maybe 7 minutes of stoppage time, due to injury. In the 96th minute, the 6th minute of stoppage time. I know this gets a little confusing, but in the 6th minute of like the last breath Kansas City had, Ellie Wheeler equalizes. And the place goes nuts, and it's 1-1. And I'm like, oh my God, Kansas City's going to do it. So then the whistle blows. Now when we're into extra time. So you're guaranteed 30 minutes. They switch the field on every 15 minutes, right? And I'm like, oh my God, right? So now the 15 minutes goes by, still 1-1. Now, Kansas City now has got the momentum because Gotham was seriously beating them the entire game. They really had their number. But then the momentum shifts, and I feel like Kansas City's got the edge. Then in the second 15 minutes, Gotham kind of gets it back, and it's very, very, toe to toe, anyone's game. And with literally like a minute left in the game, Katie Stengel scores for Gotham. Just go Google this goal. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous goal by Stengel, and Gotham wins it. But with like 30 seconds left, and if she hadn't scored, it would have gone to penalty kicks. That's how close it was. It was a phenomenal game. I'm just heartbroken for Kansas City because truly they were the best team, like hands down, like it wasn't even close. And, they should have won the whole thing, but that's what it is. That's the playoffs. Like, you just don't know. You don't know when injuries are going to occur. You're going to know anything is possible in the playoffs. But just for an organization like Kansas City that came up short last year and has the team and the coaching and the stadium, and Kansas City is the only stadium built for women's professional soccer. It's super feel good. It was like 20 below. Everyone came out and gloves and scarves and jackets. So a real heartbreaker for Kansas City. But again, huge congratulations to Gotham. Boy, were they were prepared and they came in and they just took it. Last game, Portland Thorns beat San Diego Wave. Again, scoring in the 94th minute in stoppage time. No, oh my God, I'm wrong about that. They scored in extra time. The game ended 0-0, and the first 15 minutes of extra time, 4 minutes into extra time, Riley Turner, who had been threatening all game, scores it from a beautiful cross from Olivia Moultrie. And let me just tell you this, Sam Coffey, Thorns captain, you know her if you watch a lot of the U.S. Women's National Team. Of course, you know Moultrie too if you watch the U.S. Women's National Team. Moultrie she was the one that literally took a lawsuit to the NWSL to sue them for age discrimination and started playing in the NWSL at 15 years old. Now she's 20. She can't even celebrate the win in a bar. I'll do that for her. Moultrie played great. Sam Coffey played awesome, just dominating. Listen, congratulations, San Diego Wave. They held their own. They just, when you're in the playoffs, it comes to the slimmest of margins. And Portland took it. I was cheering for Portland. Portland was the first stadium I ever went to see an NWSL game. I don't know, probably 8 years ago. I still have my Portland scarf. An incredible atmosphere in Providence Park. If you ever have a chance, go see a game there. Just amazing, just amazing. And Sam Coffey in the huddle after the game, she kept screaming, "Why not us?" And listen, with Kansas City out, why not Portland? Also, why not Gotham? Why not Washington? Or why not Orlando? Those are the four teams that have won it in the last 4 years. All those teams have won one consecutively, 21, 22, 23, 24. So one of them will win again. Semifinals coming up this Saturday, November 15th. The Spirit plays the Portland Thorns in DC. And on Sunday, Orlando will play Gotham in Orlando. Check your local listings. I think one is on CBS and one is on ABC. I'm really torn. Washington and Portland. I'll be so happy that I'll just watch that game with joy. I'll probably pull for Portland, but I also like Washington. Orlando, Gotham. Honestly, Orlando won last year, but then Gotham won the year before. So that sometimes but I'm going to probably go with New York just because I'm a New Yorker. But also if Luana hits the pitch, I'll probably cheer for Orlando. Who the freaking A knows? Just so happy for all of that. NWSL, so we got the semifinals this weekend coming up. Weekend of the 20th, 21st on the 21st, sorry, on the 22nd is NWSL finals. I am flying to San Jose. I will be there covering the game in person. You'll hear all about it. Okay, rounding out soccer, Northern Super League. If you just can't get enough of soccer, Canada's first season is coming to a close tonight. Toronto faces Montreal, and the winner plays Vancouver, who beat Ottawa a couple days ago. So this Saturday, November 15th, at BMO Field in Toronto, which holds 31,000 people, the winner of Toronto, Montreal plays Vancouver. So check that out. That is going to be, it's a huge deal. It was a big success this year. Just again, another league for Canadians. And listen, it's a global league, but specifically in Canada, and it is done, and it's just a huge. It was just a very successful season for this league, and it's just another opportunity for women to play soccer up north. So congratulations. Okay, speaking of up north, we're going to do some ice hockey. The big news out of the PWHL, which starts on the 21st, so it's coming up, is Seattle and Vancouver have names. Seattle Torrent and the Vancouver Golden Eyes. I like the names. I like the colors. I like the design. I'll link to it in the Her Lights show notes. I absolutely love it. Seattle Torrent name draws from the city's identity, powerful water currents, energy, motion. Their colors are slate green, glacier blue, basalt, black, clean, bold, very emerald city. Here for it. Love it. Vancouver Golden Eyes are named for the common goldeneye, a fast, fearless bird native to the region. Colors, Pacific blue, bronze, and coastal cream, tying Vancouver's natural beauty to a new hockey identity. Here for it. Here for it. I love when teams get names that I like the names and I like the covers. 2 for 2, Seattle Torrent. Of course, big stars, the Hillary Knight signing in the offseason. Oh my God. I'm very excited about this. I'm just digging the PWHL. I'm digging the early expansion. I love all of it. So I'll be covering that this season, obviously. And what I forgot to mention last week, so apologies to hockey fans, there was two huge games this past week, USA Canada. Now these are the rivalry series. Sweden's usually in it, Finland's in it, in the Olympics, but it's usually comes down to USA and Canada in the gold medal match. And my heart has been broken time and time again, including in 2022 when Canada beat USA in the gold medal match. Here's some warm-ups to the Olympics, and USA dominated, which usually does not happen. Game 1, 4-1 Canada last week. Game 2, 6-1. USA beats Canada 4-1. USA beats Canada 6-1. Some highlights: Abby Murphy, straight out of University of Minnesota. These are it's Wisconsin, it's Clarkson, it's University of Minnesota, the Gophers. These are like the feeding universities into these national teams. Hat trick, breakout by the Gopher star. Two Minnesota Frost players, Panic and Taylor Heiss, like getting goals, getting assists. And then 6-1 Hillary Knight, hat trick. Now she's going to be the star of the Seattle Torrent, so Seattle is fired up about that. Canada's goals, Sarah Fillier, who plays for my New York Siren. She is a lone goal in Game 1, and Marie-Philippe Pilon, who we spoke about last week, with Vlad Guerrero coming in with her jersey because she's the best of all time. She got the Canada goal. But I have to say, this is huge. This is a huge psychological advantage going into the Olympics. U.S. team deep, fast, fearless, 4-1, 6-1 heading into the Olympics. I love it. I absolutely love it. Shout out to this. If you are huge ice hockey fans, there's a great podcast called Jocks and Jill's podcast. It's a Canadian broadcasters. They're the voice of the PWHL, former players. I love them. I had them on a Her Light show earlier. You can look for that episode. So if you want to go deep with ice hockey, I strongly suggest, I think they do once or twice a week. They'll cover National League. They'll cover PWHL. Anyway, so shout out to them if you want more information. Okay, a couple more things. WTA Finals that we covered last week. Rybakina beat Sabalenka. Not a huge surprise, but a little bit of a surprise. Rybakina was the last one to get into the WTA Finals tournament and takes home $5.2 million and some bragging rights and some momentum heading into the 2026 season. She's fantastic. She has won Wimbledon before. She's in and out with injury. Not a lot of consistency from Rybakina, but when she is on, she is just right up there with Swiatek, Sabalenka, Goff, all of it. Pegula and Goff had good tournaments. Goff's got to listen. I'll have a tennis pro on before the 2026 season starts, and we'll do like kind of a looking back year in review and a looking ahead. Goff's serve obviously is a big question mark going to 2026. Consistency, like we haven't seen a player since, like, again, Serena dominate and get 3 or 4 of the Grand Slams. This past year, everybody got one. So we'll see. But anyway, huge congratulations to Rybakina beating Sabalenka, taking home the last one in, last one standing. Congratulations. Oh, just a battle, a ground stroke power battle on hard court. I didn't see the match in full. I watched a lot of the highlights. Just an absolute pleasure. Okay, rounding it out. 2 events that I am going to this weekend. I'm so fired up, and you'll hear all about them next Monday. Obviously, things to watch. Looking ahead, you've got curling Olympic trials, curling. Obviously, you've got some, soccer tonight for Northern Super League. You've got NWSL finals, collegiate basketball going, collegiate volleyball going. And that's what I'm going to highlight 2 matches. Of course, they're in LA. because I'm going to highlight them because I'm going to them. But still, I think I'd be highlighting, even if I wasn't going to these matches, USC South Carolina women's basketball. I will be there. I'm so pumped. Again, no Juju Watkins, obviously, for USC, but they've got some other great stars, which I'm really excited to watch play. Davidson, who's a freshman, Kennedy Smith, who we saw a little bit of last year, she's a sophomore. And then London Jones, my sweet London Jones from UCLA, transferred over to USC, which I actually think is a really good move. A lot of guards transfer out of the USC program. Juju is hurt. So I think there's a lot of playing time for Jones to be had. They're going into the game as ranked 18. And of course, South Carolina, always dynamite. Because when you have Dawn Staley, you're going to have a dynamite team. Number 2 in the country, South Carolina heads into Los Angeles. Joyce Edwards, she's going to take over this season. She's a sophomore, 6'3". Then we've got Latson. She was that superstar from Florida State, if you remember last season. She transferred to South Carolina. So you've got Edwards, you've got Latson, you've got Raven Johnson. She's a senior. She's established herself the last 3 years. So it is going to be a really fun night. It's listen, is it a huge test for South Carolina? It's more of a test for USC. I think South Carolina will win. But it's going to be a really big test for USC because this is like their big game, their first really big game without Juju. So we shall see. But to be there in person is going to be super, super fun. By the way, I haven't been to a USC home game in like a whole bunch of seasons. I've done a lot of UCLA games, but not USC. So I'm very excited to see that. And then, so that's Saturday, November 15th. Friday night, I will be going Friday, November 14th to the UCLA Nebraska women's volleyball. Now, obviously, I'll watch anything, but women's volleyball is heating up. I'm dying to, am I excited to see UCLA? Absolutely. They're, I think, ranked 23rd. They're a top 25 team. I'll be rooting for UCLA. That's my team. But honestly, if I'm being honest, I got the tickets to go see Nebraska. Number one, dominant all season. Harper Murray to see, that's the superstar out of Nebraska, to see her play live. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Listen, they've got Alec, they've got Riley, they've got Harper Murray. I'm so excited to see them in action. And listen, UCLA is going to give them a run for their money. I think this is a huge opportunity for UCLA. Listen, even if they don't beat Nebraska, but to play competitively, maybe take them to 5 sets. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see. They've got a grad transfer in Kong from UCLA. They've got Leverett, who's an outside hitter who's going to be battling Harper Murray. It's going to be so much fun to watch. I'll take as much video as I can while I'm there. I'll try to do as much commentary and put it up on Instagram and TikTok. But I'll just, it's so much fun being there. You get the atmosphere. I'll tell you about the crowds. I'll tell you about the play. I'll tell you all about it next Monday. But that's when I'm really excited. Okay, so here's your marching orders. Olympic hurling trials. Why not, everybody? Friday, you've got volleyball, UCLA, Nebraska. You can see the number 1 team play in action. Saturday, USC, South Carolina, killer women's NCAA matchup. And then, of course, soccer's in full swing here. You've got NWSL playoffs this weekend. We've got some absolutely fantastic matchups for the semis. Washington plays Portland. That's a toss-up. Maybe I'll give the edge to Washington because they're at home. But if Rodman doesn't play, I'm picking the Thorns. You know what? I'm picking the Thorns. I'm going to pick the Thorns. And Orlando plays Gotham in Orlando. And I tell you what, I'm going to pick Gotham on that one because for Gotham to go to Kansas City, although Kansas City was depleted, I feel like they could do it again. So I'm going to pick Portland and Gotham when everybody else probably will pick Washington and Orlando just for home field advantage. Enjoy those games. Enjoy all the sports. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here on Monday. That is it for today's episode of Her Lights. If you're loving the show, do me a huge favor. Wherever you listen, rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps me grow the podcast and get more people discovering how amazing women's sports are. Leave a 5-star rating and drop a fun review. I'll pick my favorites and read them on the air, which is so fun for me. And if you've got a story, an athlete, a game I should know about, shoot me an email at erin@herlights.com. I would love to hear from you. Fans, friends, family, have the best week of your life.